Hello and welcome to this evening's gymnastic meet, the Cherry Hill West Lions versus the Cherry Hill East Cougars. I'm Sharon Hart from West, along with Judy Alperin of East.
Hi, how are you?
Our first event of the evening is vaulting, and our first contestant from Cherry Hill West will be Lisa Lorenzi. That was a handspring vault, and she did a fine job.
Okay, next up for East is Michelle Cutler. And Michelle does a nice front handspring vault and sticks the ending there. Very nice vault, Michelle.
Sticks the landing. We have the scores from Lisa Lorenzi. We didn't mention them. Her scores were a 7-2 and a 7-0. Our next contestant from West will be a senior and one of the captains for Cherry Hill West, Vicki Grigsby.
Michelle received a 7.0 and a 6.7 on that vault.
That was also a handspring vault by Vicki Grigsby. You can note the first three girls each did handspring vaults, and you can see the differences, and people who aren't avid fans of gymnastics might not pick up those differences because it seems like a simple vault, a handspring, but it's a difficult vault, and it looks simple, but it's one that's hard to perfect. There's many elements to it, and to perfecting handspring vault.
Up now for Cherry Hill East is Christine Kanzler. Christine again does a handspring vault. She slides a little bit on her landing.
Yes, and I believe when you do touch the mat on your landing, there is a 0.5 deduction from the score. Our next competitor is Marnie Alltaker for West. The scores for Christine Kanzler were a 7-3 and a 7-1. Marnie also attempts a handspring vault, and she stuck the landing. Little break in the form, but that shouldn't be too major of a deduction. Our head judge for the evening is Shelley Feinberg, and the second judge is Beva Uzdela. Our sixth competitor is from East, is Kristen Hunt. Up next on vault will be Jennifer Lasardi from West. She's a junior.
Okay, Kristen's presently a sophomore at Cherry Hill East.
That vault is a pike Sukahara, very difficult vault, and it was a fine attempt. little break in the landing, and she falls, and that is, we'd like to note, that is a 0.5 tenth of a deduction from her score. Her first score is an 8.5, and we're a little slow getting up the second score, but it's up, and it's an 8.1. A fine score.
Correction on that last score is an 8.5 and an 8.2.
An 8.2. Kristen Hunt will be taking a second vault.
What did she get to?
We'll have to find out later why she is taking a second vault, unusual to the other girls. I'm not
Kristen was exercising her right to take a second vault if she did not like her first vault. That's an option they have.
Oh, thank you. Something that was unknown to me. And I believe that was a handspring full, but I'm not sure on the mount. The mount on the vault could have been a half on, but that was a fine vault. And her score...
Kristen raises her scores up to an 8.7 and 8.5 on that last vault. Nice job, Kristen.
Next for West is Jennifer Lusardi. She is a junior. That was a fine vault by Jennifer Lusardi. That was also a handspring. That was a handspring vault. She had nice speed down the runway. Nice approach to the horse. And her scores are a 7.1 and a 7.3.
Next up for Cherry Hill East is Karen Barr. Karen is a senior at East. She's also a captain on the East Gymnastic team. Co-captain on the East Gymnastic team.
You guys can keep doing that. Don't do that.
Karen is a very accomplished gymnast. She has competed with Wilmore Gymnastics and Cherry Hill East. She's brought many honors and awards to Cherry Hill East, and we're very proud of her.
A little break on her landing, but that was a fine vault. She had nice speed down the runway and good approach, nice flight in the air, and nice form.
Karen receives the scores of 8.4 and 8.2 on that. Nice vault, Karen.
Our next event will be the uneven bars. Karen concludes the vaulting.
Karen is going to take a second vault on that.
A little disorganized in this first event, but I think Judy and I will have it pulled together by the time we get to the uneven bars.
Maybe Karen will take her degree of difficulty up a notch. We have seen her do some pretty impressive stuff in the past.
As you said, Karen is an accomplished gymnast. I've known her from my past when I used to partake in gymnastics as a sport, and I used to compete against her. And she has been in the sport many years. As you said, she started off, I believe, at Wilmore, probably a little younger than the girls did at Westlake, at East, excuse me.
Yes, Karen changes her degree of difficulty with a...
Adds a full twist at the end, so it was a handspring on and a full off. It was a nice vault by Karen.
Yes, Karen definitely increases her scores with a 9.3
And
And as the judges are deliberating,
a
9.3.
Nice score for Karen.
I'm sure Karen was pleased with that.
Yes.
Shows the benefit of being able to take that second vault.
And this concludes the vaulting event. As we move on to our second event, the uneven bars, our first competitor from Cherry Hill West will be, no, make a correction, the first competitor will be from Cherry Hill East, Tony Westerfield. As a general rule, the uneven bars event usually takes quite longer than the vaulting event because the girls have some preparation before, a little more preparation before they start their uneven bars routine.
It's also a longer routine, isn't it?
It's a longer routine, of course, but they also have to set both bars. Each setting is going to be different for each girl because the different heights of each girl.
The girls competing in this event for Cherry Hill East are Tony Westerfield up first, Christine Kanzler up second, Karen Barr third, and Kristen Hunt last.
And for West, Mary Rotolo will go first, Lisa Lorenzi second, Jennifer Losardi third, and Marnie Alltaker will compete last, will be the last competitor on the uneven bars.
We might add that this is the last regularly scheduled meet for East and West. After this, they will.
Yes.
After this, they will move on to sectionals and individual competitions. Up now for Cherry Hill East is Tony Westerfield. She's begun her routine.
As she does a kip to the high bar. Little struggle there, but she managed to get up. Soul circle half turn and a flyaway dismount. Nice dismount for Tony. As we await the scores of Tony, Cherry Hill West first competitor, Mary Rotolo, will be preparing for her routine, setting her bars. So you see the coaches out on the mat now. We have Kevin and Darlene Karch are the head coaches for Cherry Hill West.
And for Cherry Hill East is Phil Frank. Phil's brother coaches the boys' gymnastics team.
The assistant coach for the girls' team, working along with Phil Frank, who wasn't able to make the meet tonight, is Frank Lowe. Tony's score was a 5-2, and we do have a bit of an obstructed view here, and we're not able to see the second score.
Oh, the officials are collaborating. They have not yet gotten in that second score, so we're waiting on that. If the scores differ by more than a point, then the judges must reconfer, which is probably the situation right now.
And this usually happens because the judges are seated in different angles of the area of the event. And so frequently, because of the angle that a judge is sitting at, he or she will miss a deduction. But it looks like they have it settled, and it's a 5-2 and a 5-3. West's first competitor of the uneven bars is Mary Rotolo. A nice mount, little break in the form.
She seems to be a little rigid. Is that normal in a
routine? In an uneven bars team? On an even bars routine, well, it certainly takes a lot of strength, and you must have a lot of movement. But she's doing a good job, and looks like...
Do you think that was called for in her routine, that last move?
Oh, it was a nice dismount, nice landing. Little shaky routine. Little shaky. But again, we must commend these girls because it does look a little easy to the eye, but if you're in the sport, you know it does take an awful lot of strength.
I'm sure many of us recall our early days in elementary school and how klutzy we were with gymnastics.
Yes, definitely. Gymnastics is a sport that requires a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work. Her scores, the scores for Maritolo, a 3.0 and a 3.5. Next up for Cherry Hill East is Christine Kanzler, and on deck, Lisa Lorenzi from Cherry Hill West. Looks like we have a fine turnout to tonight's meet. A lot of supporters, family and friends. Few people from West. Nice to see the students come out and support our sports at the high school.
Looks like Cherry Hill East also brought along some of their cheering section.
Yes.
Some moms and dads in the stands.
Traditionally, this final East-West meet is a senior meet, and we'd like to take this time to mention that the captains for Cherry Hill West are Kathy Tully and Vicki Grigsby. They're both seniors. I believe they've been on the high school team for 4 years. The seniors from Cherry Hill West are Shari Barbell, Sharon Johnson, Andrea Calari, and Karen Barr. Andrea Calari is the captain, and Karen Barr is the co-captain.
So is Sherry Barbell. Christine Kanzler is into her routine.
She's off to a good start. A nice kip up to the high bar, hip circle, sole circle, half turn, belly beat on the low bar, kip to the high bar, belly beat, and a nice back tuck dismount for Christine Kanzler. Well done, Christine. The coaches now are setting the bars for our next competitor from Cherry Hill West, Jennifer Lusardi. Jennifer Lusardi has been on the team 3 years, and she is a junior at Cherry Hill West. No, we have a change in the order. I believe our next competitor is a competitor from West, but this is Lisa Lorenzi. She is a junior like Jennifer Lusardi. She has also participated in gymnastics at West. This is her 3rd year on the team.
Christine received scores on that of 6.4 and 6.8. So
Lisa mounts with a switch kip. Doesn't quite make it up to the bar.
there's a
Remounts with the
deduction
kip.
for that break in.
A break in the routine, yes, a 5.5 tenths of a deduction. She kips to the high bar, having a little bit of struggle with this routine, but I think she'll manage to do an okay job. And she dismounts with a flyaway. Nice dismount for Lisa Lorenzi. Next up for Cherry Hill East will be Karen Barr.
Karen is competing in all 4 events. She's an all-around gymnast.
We mentioned before November 9th will be the sectional championships. This will take place at Washington Townships. To qualify for this meet, each gymnast must score at least an 8.0 on either vault or floor and a minimum of 7.5 on beam or bars. An additional requirement for this meet is that each qualifier must have the required scores not once, but on 2 occasions. 2 different meets, they must meet the required scores. Now the girls can qualify for all events, all 4 events. They can qualify, they can compete as an all-around competitor at sectionals, or they can compete on individual events.
Lisa received 4.1 and 4.6 on that vault. Up now is Karen Barr for Cherry Hill East.
One more note that the sectional championships, again, are November 9th at Washington Township, and all schools in the South Jersey League will be there competing. So it is a very large meet, and we sure hope a lot of students and teachers, families and friends from the high schools will be there to support the gymnasts.
You may have noticed before Karen has gone up to take her place that she was in deep thought, deep concentration. She practices mentally preparing herself for each competition.
As each girl do, because the sport is an intricate sport and it does require a lot of concentration. So it is important that each girl before a routine is thinking about what she's about to do and blocking out the audience and family and friends. And she starts with a nice mount, free hip on the high bar, a very difficult move as she kip catches to the high bar, kip to the high bar, and a handstand, half turn, and a flyaway dismount. Very nice job, Karen. Very good.
May have noticed that Karen had no break whatsoever in that. It was one smooth, nice, organized routine.
But as I said before, the gymnastics is an intricate sport, and that may have looked good, and as it was, a very good routine, but the judges will find little deductions in form and maybe movement. Our next competitor will be from Cherry Hill West, Jennifer Lasardi. Jennifer, this is her third year on the Cherry Hill West gymnastics team. She is a junior at West High School. And we had a little delay on those scores, but the scores for Karen Barr, an 8.3 and an 8.6. Jennifer Lasardi prepares for her mount. A kip catch to the high bar, switch kip to the low bar, sole circle, catch, half turn. She straddles over the low bar, kips up to the high bar, hip circle, sole circle, half turn, and a flyaway dismount. Nice job for Jennifer Lasardi. Seems like all the girls, many of the girls are using the flyaway dismount, popular dismount.
Next up, for Cherry Hill East is Kristen Hunt. Kristen is a sophomore at Cherry Hill East.
And on deck for Cherry Hill West is Marnie Alltaker.
And earlier to see how the girls were doing was the Cherry Hill West wrestling team. Nice to see the guys coming out in support of the girls. She received a 7.6 and a...
Always a little slow in the second score, getting up
7.5.
to 7.5. Commendable job, Jennifer. Kristen mounts with a straddle over the high bar.
That was a very interesting move she just did.
Very different. Hip. Cast, handstand, doesn't quite make the handstand, but finishes with a fine flyaway layout dismount.
Stuck with dismount very well.
Nice form on the dismount. Legs together, straight body. Toes could have been a little more pointed, maybe just a tad, but we'll take it.
We, as the commentating staff, would never want to be too critical.
Never too critical. Up next for West is Marnie Alltaker on... No, there's no one on deck. This will be the last competitor on the uneven bars. And then we'll move to the treacherous balance beam. And our...
Very nice scores for Kristen, 8.1 and 8.5. It's all figured out at the end.
Marnie mounts with a kip. Kip to the high bar. She's moving well. It's nice movement as she kips to the high bar and casts full circle half turn. Kip to the high bar, and we'll have a flyweight dismount also from Marnie, and she sticks the landing.
Marnie seemed very proud of herself coming off that. She was
Yes,
really good
and
about that.
this concludes the uneven bars event as we move on to the balance beam. Before this event starts, I'd like to make note that the balance beam is only 4 inches wide. Sometimes that's hard to see on the television camera. We're anticipating this event. A fine meet for Cherry Hill West and Cherry Hill is, wouldn't you say, Judy?
I would say very impressive to me.
The girls are doing well.
It seems as though the
They're very relaxed and doesn't meet being their last meet. I think the pressure's off and the
I
girls
think so.
are enjoying this meet, I
Yes.
believe.
I believe the judges are having quite a bit of a problem, though.
No, it seems that
They
way.
can't seem to make up their mind on Marnie's last routine.
A few discussions there, but we'll have the score up. Yes, and it's going up. And she receives a 7.0 and a 6.7. Nice scores for Marnie. Miss Judy just asked me if I was a senior, and I'm proud of it. Our first competitor on the balance beam from Cherry Hill West is Marnie Alltaker. Full turn, slight wobble. Oh, and that's too bad for Marnie. That will be a 0.5 tenths of a deduction.
This is the third event that Marnie's participating in. She's also competing in all 4 events. She's an all-around gymnast.
It's a nice back walker. Again, a slight wobble, which will be a deduction. And
Over that time, she's stuck.
she sticks the second back walker. Solid. Oh, it didn't even look like she tried to hold on to that one, but that happens sometimes. When you do make when you're on your first fall, that can shake you for the rest of your routine. And she falls off again. Seems like she's giving up a bit. I think it's more psychological than anything, because I've seen her perform these tricks before and very well. She prepares and completes her dismount, a back tack, and fine dismount, nice dismount for Marnie.
In speaking with Andrea Cleary, one of the co-captains on the Cherry Lee's team, discussed with her the preparation involved with the gymnastics program at East and West. And she informed me that each girl puts in about 3 hours a day each day.
Yes, I believe their
working out.
practices are every weekday, 2:30 to 5:30.
Some of the girls also work outside. I make a correction. Karen Barr did work with Wilmore Gymnastics. She no longer does. However, Kristen Hunt does have an outside gym, and she puts in about 4 hours, 6 days a week there.
Yes, and about that last beam routine, I was saying gymnastics, other than physical strength, takes a lot of mental strength, and especially on an intricate, on the intricate event, the balance beam, your first fall of your routine can set off a pattern of mistakes for the whole entire routine. And some girls, it's very hard, but some girls will continue with these faults and not quite be able to pull themselves together again. So as you see, it does take quite a lot of mental concentration. That's another thing the girls must overcome.
And I noticed that the judges are very consistent on their scores, both giving Marnie a 4.4.
Yes.
Up now for Cherry Hill East is Sharon Johnson. This is the only event that Sharon is competing in. She's a senior at Cherry Hill East. This is her best event. Sharon's been involved in gymnastics since grade school. She wobbles a bit, but she's holding on. Gymnastics is very involved in the Johnson family.
That's a nice one-arm
And she falls.
cartwheel. She almost
She
had
hops
it.
right back on.
Almost had that.
And there you see again how sometimes once you make the first mistake, it sets off your routine.
It can affect the entirety of your routine. That was a split lead. And no hand forward roll, but she will have a deduction for putting her hands on the beam, for grabbing the beam. It's too bad. She falls off again. But completes with a nice dismount. That was Sharon Johnson from Cherry Hill East. And our next competitor will be a good friend of mine from Cherry Hill West, our Floridian on the team, Vicki Grigsby. And Sharon receives congratulations from her teammates and friends. That's nice to hear. Nice to have your friends.
Yeah, well, I'm sure as is true with the West team, the team is very close, very strong with each other. They all read each other on.
Yeah, I mentioned before how being the last meet, I think it's a little more relaxed, and you do see the unity in the teams and the camaraderie.
I think this is a very big factor in the psyching up, so to speak, for the sectionals.
Definitely, and as we mentioned again, sectionals will be November 9th at Washington Township. That will
Township is
include,
located in Turnersville.
yeah, and this meet is going to include all schools in the South Jersey League.
Sharon received scores of 5.8 and 5.9 on the routine.
And Vicky's preparing for her mount. A nice mount for Vicky. Seems to have a very nice form. Her movements are fluid. Doesn't quite hold on to that full turn.
Seems to be the pattern in this event.
Like I said before, the balance beam is only 4 inches wide.
Just about a foot's width.
That was a nice, beautiful no-handed forward roll. I believe she's going to attempt another one. Yes, but doesn't quite make it. That's all right, Vic. Hang in there.
You can hear that there's absolute quiet in this gymnasium, as people realize the level of concentration needed for such a strenuous event.
That was a very unusual turn. Very pretty. Vicky prepares for her dismount. I believe it will be a backflip. Yes, and I'm right. Good job, Vicky. We'll await her scores. Next up will be Sherry Barbell of Cherry Hill East.
Sherry Barbell's also a co-captain. She's a senior. She's also been with the team for 4 years.
And I know also Sherry from my previous experience with gymnastics, and I know she also has been involved quite a long time with gymnastics, even before she entered high school, I believe. As her teammates help her set up her board and the mats differently, which will happen for different routines. I think we're about to receive the scores for Vicky, yes, and it's a 5.9 and a 6.0. Good scores for Vicky.
Sherry is waiting the okay from the judges to begin her routine. She's given the go-ahead sign, and she counts.
And that is a rule. The girls must await the judges' approval before they can start their routines. That's true for every event.
And she...
That is a bobble, and that will...
But it's good for her mentally that she was able to...
hold on to that, yes.
She does a very difficult move there.
And this is true with the older members of both gymnastics team or any gymnastics team. The more experienced are going to have a little more confidence with what they're doing, be able to hold on to those difficult moves a little easier than the others. Two consecutive.
Able to keep her balance there 4 different times. She was able to just stick to that.
Yeah.
Glue.
Those were 2 consecutive no-handed forward rolls. A switch leap, excuse me.
Just back walk over. Another back walk over.
Of course, you hear the approval from her teammates and friends. A nice job for Sherry. She was able to stay on the beam,
Incredible.
which is really nice.
Cheer from her teammates there. Very proud of Sherry. Sherry's come a long way.
Yeah, good feeling when you can stay on the beam for your entire routine. We'll wait Sherry's score. I'm sure Sherry and her friends are anxiously awaiting the score. And I think the judges have pretty much decided the scores. I believe our judge, Beva Uzdela, our second judge, is re-examining her score. They are having a conference. Discussion over some difference in the scores, some deviation. You know, this makes it even a little harder for the competitors when they have to wait through discussion. It makes it a little bit longer that they have to wait for their scores and puts more pressure on the girls. But if it's a good score, it's all worth it.
Yeah, as is true with every event. Those judges just can't seem to make up their minds.
There are many things to consider, though, and the judges have to consider.
Well, she loses about 1/10 of a point for each wobble.
Well, that may vary on the extent, if you want to say, of the wobble. If it's slight, it could be a tenth or two, and if it's a major wobble, I believe it can be up to 3/10 of a deduction. And if they do fall or grab the balance beam in some way, besides an intentional way of grabbing the balance beam, it can be up to a 0.5 deduction. And I think everybody will be happy with these scores, 7.7 and an 8.0. And I'm pretty sure the excitement over these scores are probably because she's managed to qualify for the sectionals, which will be at Washington Township, November 9th, and we'd like to see everybody out there. Kathy Tully, unbeknownst to most of the people here, has just started her routine. A lovely mount. I talked to Kathy earlier, and she needs a 7.5 to make sectionals here too, so our hands and our fingers are crossed for her. A nice front walkover. A little wobble, but not too big of a deduction. Another front walkover. Nice, Kathy. Beautiful front walkovers. A back walkover and another back walkover. A little wobble. I think Kathy's nervous about this score because this is her last chance to qualify for the sectional meet. And that's a bobble. A fall, that will be a 0.5 of a deduction on her final score.
That was an interesting move she just did. She looked like a swan.
A nice dismount for Kathy. Congratulations on your last beam routine of the season, Kathy. Nice job. Well done. Next up for Cherry Hill East will be Kristen Hunt.
Kristen, as we mentioned before, works out more than any girl on the team. She's competing in all 4 events. She's a very psyched up young lady. Being a sophomore, she has 2 more years to give to East.
Once again, the judges are contemplating on their scores. We have the first score up, which is a 6.5, but that is a tentative score, awaiting the approval of our second judge, Beva Uzdela. And yes, the scores have gone through. A 6.5 and a 6.1. Kathy didn't quite match the score that she needed to qualify for sectionals, but that was good effort.
Okay, Kristen has mounted the beam. She seems to have a little bit of a dance flair in her routine. But of course, gymnastics and dance have a lot in common.
That's another thing that the girls work hard on, is their dance ability. That's also part of the sport. Both
I
on,
think we'll see when we see the floor exercise
Yes.
how much dance comes into play.
both on the floor exercise and the balance beam. Certainly an aspect that the girls must take into consideration when making up their beam and floor routines. Dance elements are in there for the flow and keeping the routine moving. That's 2 consecutive back handsprings in a row. Back handspring step outs, very well done.
She's very dramatic in her routine.
Nice extension. Kristen, as you said, dramatic. She really extends her movements to the fullest. And that's a back handspring layout dismount for Kristen Hunt. Good, solid routine for Kristen. Next up for Cherry Hill West will be Jennifer Lasardi.
I believe we're on camera.
I believe so.
And we must take this opportunity to thank our
Cameraman Noah Mulone. He's doing a fine job.
and Mr. Hampson. And on the portable camera is...
The portable camera? Gee, I don't know who's on the portable camera. We'll have to check that information out because he certainly deserves to be credited too. Scores for Kristen Hunt were an 8.3 and an 8.6.
He looks very Western.
The judges signal Jennifer. She has their okay to start. As she mounts the balance beam and immediately falls off. Didn't quite hold on to that
does a lot
mount.
to break up her momentum. But
Well-
it seems like she's getting right back into it.
Yes, I think she'll do a fine job. Jennifer is one of the more experienced members. She's been at it a long time, so I think she'll have this routine pulled together. Spoke too soon? I guess. That can happen, though. It takes an awful lot of concentration. I can't stress how much it takes. Very difficult.
Ooh, that's cool.
That's going to hurt her score a bit. It's all part of the sport, and that's what sometimes can separate an elite gymnast. The elite gymnast having very strong mental conditioning. And she was a fine dismount. Good dismount for Jennifer Lasardi.
And again, that those moves look easier on camera to you than I'm sure they are to the gymnast. You can, if you know, kept up with gymnastics in the past, as in Olympic events, it's been known to happen where a gymnast will slip or miss something and hit their head or another part of their body on the beam. So, in effect, gymnastics can be pretty dangerous.
I guess most sports do, Judy, contain. Yes, the tape is on. Judy, our commentator from East, wasn't too sure that the tape was running, but we do have a verification that we're still on. But I'd like to mention that, again, there is a degree of difficulty or danger in almost any sport. which is usually outweighed. You don't let that bother you, and you really don't when you're thinking about your routine and you're going over in your head before you're about to go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Karen Barr, I spoke with in intermission break. She scores a 6.8 and 6.8. Karen spoke with me, and I asked her, what her concentration moments were about, and she told me that for every event, she runs through every event totally in her head before she gets out there. So she's very well put together gymnast.
I would say most girls are like that. And
not as well planned out from speaking to some of the East gymnasts.
But again, in
Karen
Karen's case, that
rises to a handstand.
That concentration comes from experience, which Karen certainly has. It seems like all girls are having a little bit of difficulty tonight staying on the beam. Sometimes this comes in patterns. With the first girl, effects kind of trickle down to the rest of the competitors. A nice back handspring step out for Karen. I think she will be attempting another one. No, it's a back tuck, and she almost had it. Like her shoulder was a little off on that one. One of her shoulders was a little down, which will throw you off. And
it's good to see that the girls jump right back on the beam with determination after a fall.
Yes.
Just 3 full turns.
Wow, a nice handstand pirouette for Karen, which shows balance and strength. Difficult move.
Karen has worked long and hard hours to develop upper body strength. And a nice dismount.
She also receives nice applause from her teammates and friends.
Coach Frank is discussing the
I believe that was our last competitor on the balance beam, and in just a minute we should be moving on to the floor exercise, our fourth and final event of the evening. And as soon as we have the judges' scores, yes, we will move on to our final event, the floor exercise.
Interesting to note that in the floor exercise, for East, there's a freshman, Claire
Cardelia,
and sophomore Julie Klebanoff. Neither their first events, both of them for tonight, and it's good to see that a freshman is quality to compete.
Let's check the scores on that.
7.2 and a 7.5.
Nice scores for Karen.
I think that she was hoping for a little higher.
Yes, and we're on to our final rotation, floor exercise. And from West, up first will be Vicky Grigsby, second, Marnie Alltaker, third, Maria Lavolo, and last, Jennifer Lasardi.
For East, starting off is Julie Klebanoff. Following her is Claire Cardelia. After her is Kristen Hunt, and following her is Karen Barr. Karen will have her opportunity to avenge herself for that last routine, though I'm sure that she'll have no problem with that.
Congratulations go out to all the girls for the last 3 events. They're doing a nice job. Up first,
Sophomore Julie Klebanoff. Julie,
unlike any of the other,
slightly smaller body to her advantage. Upbeat music for her routine.
definitely, like any other event, this event does entail music. This event is really where the girls can get out there and show their personality and relate to the crowd. Final tumbling pass, a round off back handspring, back tuck.
And you'll notice that the girls will work all the way around the mat. Very nice.
Very nice job. And the girls in this event try to use all four corners of the mat. They must include a certain degree of difficulty, a certain degree of dance ability that must be shown, and strength, and probably one of the most difficult aspects of the floor routine, endurance. A lot of stamina put into the floor exercises. Our first competitor for West. Up next, Vicky Grigsby. And I believe we'll have our scores for Julie Klebanoff. The first score, a 6.2. Now, looks like once again the judges.
No, I think that we just had a little delay in our sign putter upper.
Yeah, our runners who are girls who
5'9" and 6'2".
5'9" and 6'2". The runners are the girls who sit next to the judges and will relay the scores to the other judge and work the signs, put up the scores on the signs. This is Vicky Grigsby. Like I said, this is the event where they will show their personality. So the girls will have the music, different musics for different personalities. Our first tumbling pass, a round off, back handspring, back handspring. Nice opening pass.
Away to each corner of the mat.
Second tumbling pass, cartwheel, round off, and a backward roll, completing the pass. Vicky shows nice dance ability. And Vicky dismounts the floor. As she dismounts the floor, we will weight the scores, and then we will see our next competitor from East, a freshman, Clara Cardelia.
Get up, Claire!
A little encouragement from her. From everybody. I think both teams are rooting for each other at this point. Final event and the final meet of the year. Scheduled
the pride of
dual
East
meet.
On the boys' gymnastics side is Joe Gilson. He just came in to cheer on the girls' team. Joe has broken several records in East for gymnastics, boys' gymnastics.
And her music starts.
You can see where the drama and the dance fit in. If you remember Mary Lou Retton from the Olympics, this is where she shined. The personality really shines through, the smile.
She opens up her routine
Very nice.
with a round off, back handspring, and an Arabian. Round off, two back handsprings and a back tuck. Nice tumbling pass for Claire. Difficult tumbling pass for Claire.
She's using music from AHA,
And
It's very upbeat music.
and her routine is really moving well. Very fluid routine. And her final tumbling pass, a round off back handspring back tuck, and she does touch the mat on that back tuck, which will be a 0.5 tenths deduction.
She shows great promise. So East is very proud to have her for the next 3 years.
Certainly nice to have young members on the team, so when the senior members leave, you always have the younger members to start building the team up. And we'll await the judges' score. Next up will be Marnie Alltaker from Cherry Hill West. We don't know. They know. Floor routines do take a little bit longer to score because of their length.
And Claire receives. Oh, we're having a judge conference again.
Another conference.
Judges are becoming famous for this.
Just shows you,
On the sidelines.
just shows you how much is involved when judging each routine. Many things to consider: the dance, the use of the floor, the difficulty, degree of difficulty, strength moves, balance moves. And it looks like they have come to a decision as the judges separate and go back to their corners,
And the scores are 7.5, 7.6.
which are qualifying scores for this sectional meet for Claire Cardelia. And this is Marnie Alltaker, Cherry Hill West. She starts off a very bouncy, energetic routine, and her first pass is a round off back handspring, back tuck, and completes the pass. Her second pass, a round off back handspring, back handspring. A nice back walk over, back handspring step out. Nice combination. As she moves to her corner and prepares for her final tumbling pass. Front walk over, step out, round off back handspring. Each of the girls must have 3 tumbling passes in their routine. And a nice ending and completion of tonight's meet for Marnie Alltaker. Or, excuse me, I believe we have the name wrong on that. I think that was Maria Lavallo, not Marnie Alltaker.
And that was.
No, we were right the first time. That was Marnie Alltaker. Folks, we're sorry here. What time is it? It's a big 8:35 at night.
You know
I should
how
be.
those senior blues are going.
You know it. And I also know that I should be home studying for my pre-calculus test, which awaits
the
me.
woes and pressures of everyday life.
My English thesis paper awaits me my arrival at home. This job we have here tonight, I want you to know, is a very difficult job. I didn't think it would be this hard. It's hard to sit here, and there's so many breaks in the meet between the the rotations and the
Sorry to interrupt you 1 second on that thought, but the scores that Martin received are a 6.5 and a 5.5. Nice job, Martin.
As
You were
I was saying, it's very difficult in a gymnastic meet because there's a lot of airspace that you must fill, a lot of things, because there are many breaks in the meet. As I said, conferences between the judges, switching to different events, and just the waiting of the next competitor, and the music begins.
And then Kristen begins her.
And she begins with a round off back handspring, full twist. Very nice pass. From Star Wars. Get with it, Judy. Yeah, Star Wars. This is definitely Star Wars.
No, it's
No,
Raiders of the Lost
Indiana
Ark.
Jones. Indiana Jones, we got it.
And I'm sure the picture of Harrison Ford in her mind is just etching her on.
And that's 2 back handsprings to a back tuck. Things are getting crazy here.
And as the music changes dramatically, so does her routine. You can tell in the expression. Soft movements of the music are coupled with the soft movements of her routine.
As she prepares for her final tumbling pass, which will be and is a round off back handspring, pike flip, or maybe that was a layout, but a little piked in the body. And she ends nicely. Congratulations to Kristen Hunt on her final routine of the evening. Up next will be Maria Lavallo of Cherry Hill West. Nervously is anticipating her routine as she waits for the judge's decision. Oh, and we have a score of an 8-0 and
Seems like Beva is taking her time as usual.
Beva and an 8-5. Beva, you and Stella. Words of encouragement fill the gymnasium. And she's opening her routine with music from
Excellent.
Beverly Hills Cops. Beverly Hills Cop. All right.
And there she goes.
And there she goes.
Tell how the difference in the music, the heaviness in the music, and the heaviness in the person.
It was a dive forward roll as she prepares for her second tumbling pass. An aerial, another aerial.
She's getting into that with the dance moves there. You can see it.
Her petiteness enables her to do these cute movements.
Showing her flexibility there.
Maria used her music very well. Very nice dance movements and a nice routine for Maria Lavallo. Congratulations goes out to Maria on completing her meet for the night. As
Maria has her own cheering section here.
our next contestant from
West Gymnasium.
Karen Barr of Cherry Hill East. This is her final routine of the evening. We wish her luck. And again, we are awaiting the decision of the judges on Ray Lavala's score. And up goes her score, a 7.1 and a 7.0 for Maria Lavala. Nice job, Maria.
Karen is preparing herself for her routine,
And now,
wherever she is.
on with the music. Hit the music.
Very good.
All right. And she starts her floor routine with a nice round-off back handspring to a full twist. She uses her music very well. Combination of her flexibility and her dance movements very well, very fluid. Nice straddle
Whoa.
pirouette,
Very nice.
a strength move, and a balance move as well. She is entering a quarter, preparing for her second tumbling pass.
Karen works all four corners of the mat very nicely.
Handspring step out, round off back handspring to a back tuck. Nice tumbling pass for Karen. Her final tumbling pass, round off back handspring, back tuck. Nice routine,
Very
Karen.
Nice routine, Karen.
Our final competitor of the evening will be Jennifer Lasardi of Cherry Hill West, and we hear the overwhelming,
Great enthusiasm on the East Bench.
The
I think that
overwhelming-
Karen is very proud of herself.
the wave of applause from her teammates and the audience of tonight's event. And
I think that gymnastics is a sport that goes very much unrecognized, but it's growing in popularity.
I think so too, and I think that's due to the tremendous coverage that was so terrifically done on the Olympics previous year, and
It's Mary Lou Retton has made
recognition
quite
of
the,
Mary Lou Retton's.
Karen receives an 8.8 and 9.0. Very nice, Karen.
Very nice scores for Karen. As we were saying, Mary Lou Retton has made a significant impact on the sport and has made it much more well known to many kids and other athletes. As we receive some heckling from two young men in the audience, but that doesn't disturb us too much. The show must go on. We have a tough job here. As Jennifer's music starts, and the final competitor of the evening. Ooh, what haunting music.
Very apropos for Halloween.
Scary, sketty. Her first tumbling pass, round off back handspring and a full twist. And
The whole
you see the smile on her face. Very happy.
mood of her whole routine just changed the pace of the music. She completed that first pass and
Second
wonderful.
tumbling pass, two back
Very
handsprings
nice.
to a back tuck.
Quite a finale to tonight's performances.
And that was Jennifer Lasari of Cherry Hill West. Her routine finishing up tonight's competition. very nice meet. Went very well. Not too many delays in the competition, other than the rotations, and everybody anxiously waiting the score as it goes up. 8.4 and an 8.6 for Jennifer Lasardes. Well done, Jennifer.
Very, very nice score for them.
This completes tonight's competition.
This is cable 18S. Like, it's unbelievable.
We look marvelous, too.
Could we, like, possibly have, like, a better Cherry Hill Public Schools television station?
No, I don't think so, my friend. So let me just say, you look marvelous and you know who you are.